Brian Beary is here with us now for more on the Greek bailout vote. He's a journalist and author who specializes in EU-U.S. affairs. We want to thank you for coming in. I was digging around and found this quote from Socrates, the great Greek philosopher. If you don't get what you want, you suffer. If you get what you don't want, you suffer. Even when you get exactly what you want, you still suffer. It seems like he's describing Athens today, doesn't it?
I think Greece is suffering today. I think Greece has been suffering almost endlessly for 5 years. And
no end in sight.
And no end in sight. And when we see the violence on the streets, it's in some ways, it's kind of easy to understand. They can't see a light at the end of the tunnel.
The referendum, though, they came out in big numbers, but you feel like it backfired on Tsipras. In many respects, those pushing for austerity really kind of dug their heels in, didn't they?
Yeah, I think he thought it was a clever move, and in my view, it was a spectacular miscalculation because the mood actually turned among his EU colleagues, turned to one of anger against him for trying to pull such a stunt. And when he came back after the referendum, the dominant sentiment was they were going to double down on their demands for austerity. Some are saying he came out with a worse deal because of the referendum that he would have had he never had the referendum.
We talked about the violence out on the streets, but there was fireworks as well among the MPs. One of them describing the bailout deal as a coup, a crime against humanity, which could lead to social genocide. Pretty strong words. And we saw some fiery elements during the debate. Any surprises at the vote? What does this mean for Tsipras moving forward? Because a lot of his own party defected, didn't they?
Yes, although the last I heard, the numbers were a slightly bigger majority than I would have expected in the run-up. My view is that Tsipras's days as Prime Minister may be numbered. It's hard for him to claim a victory here. He went and got an agreement that he said he didn't like, and now the agreement has been passed. It's kind of difficult to see a path for him forward here. I think I can totally understand the Greek parliamentarians' anger. And here in Washington, even the IMF is kind of scratching its head and thinking, why is the EU insisting on more austerity for Greece? At this point, maybe some debt relief is in order. The Greek anger doesn't seem totally out of whack when you look at international opinion. And in fact, some would say that the EU's position on Greece at the moment seems a little overly harsh, considering how dire straits Greece is in.
And talk to us about the contours of this agreement. I mean, how tough is it going to be for an average Greek citizen to get by moving forward? I know the VAT taxes are going up. That's one feature of it, but there's much more to it than that.
Yes, the pension age, I believe, is to go up to 67. Taxes are going up. I think it's the cumulative effect. This is on top of tough measures that have come in previous years, on top of spending cuts, which some economists say have driven the economy down further and driven Greece further into debt. As we mentioned at the start, at some point people wonder, is there any end in sight? And is this prescription actually helping the country get out of the mess it's in?
Is this a taste of what's to come, what we saw on the streets today? I mean, there's a lot of anger, pent-up anger in that country.
I guess it depends if the bailout deal that has to be negotiated in the next 2 or 3 weeks somehow calms things down. Let's remember the banks are still shut. People cannot get their money out. And Greece is defaulting by €6 billion to the IMF and the EU. In a month's time, if we're in a slightly calmer situation, perhaps things may calm down on the streets, but I can see plenty of reason why Greeks will take to the streets.
Brian Beary, always a delight having you on our broadcast. Thanks so much for your analysis.
Thanks.